When you're experiencing negative emotions, are you really able to separate your feelings from reality? Or does it all start to kind of blur together? Today we're going to be talking about something called emotional reasoning and how this cognitive distortion can lead to a lot of anxiety and suffering in our life. Stick around. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nina. I'm a life transformation coach, and here at this channel we talk all about our emotional well-being, understanding our own psychology, and leading our best life possible. So if you're not already a subscriber, please go ahead and become one. We definitely want you to stay connected. So firstly, cognitive distortions are the biased perspectives that we develop about ourselves and about the whole world around us, really. They are irrational ideas, beliefs, and thinking patterns that we unknowingly reinforce a lot of times because we do not question them. We simply believe them to be true. And as human beings, we just have so many different cognitive distortions and biases that really influence how we see the world. But today I wanted to talk specifically about one called emotional reasoning, because this is one that I think we all fall prey to. Definitely I do myself, and it's something that can be very beneficial to have an awareness of. Emotional reasoning is a cognitive process by which an individual concludes that their emotional reaction proves something is true despite contrary evidence. So we could really boil this down to the idea of accepting emotions to be fact, or in other words, I feel it, therefore it must be true. And this can be incredibly hard to get around because so often our emotions feel like facts. They can be so convincing. They can really start to distort our judgments and our thoughts about something. But of course we have to understand, just because we feel something does not mean that it is actually true, no matter how powerfully that we feel it. So for example, we could feel with all our heart and soul jealous because we think our partner is cheating on us. But that doesn't make the accusation true. The problem is that when we have the tendency to use this emotional reasoning is that we will develop what we could call an emotional truth. So it's something that is not true in reality. We don't have any evidence for it, but it's true to us. We are experiencing it as a truth. And because of that, we will experience the exact same negative emotions that we would feel if this were indeed a real truth in reality. So we are going to feel the same anger or sadness or anxiety or fear or whatever it is in the same way that we would if this was what was actually happening. And if someone were to ask us about this, if they were to question us, we would say, I know this is real because this is how I feel. And all feelings are valid simply because we are feeling them and we are experiencing them. However, that does not make what we are believing to be true actually true. This is something that can also severely affect people that suffer from panic disorders, because these faulty belief systems really can trigger very serious symptoms that can be extremely dangerous. But even if we do not have a panic disorder, this is something that can lead to a lot of negative consequences in our life, as you can imagine. And these are all things that I have experienced firsthand, because this is something that I definitely have struggled with in the past. The last thing that we want to do is to create stress in our life about things that don't need to be problems, because they actually aren't problems. They're problems only because of how we are perceiving them or how we are choosing to think about them and the emotions that they are leading us to feel. But again, these are problems that don't need to be there, which is why it's so important that we have an awareness of this cognitive distortion. So we must remember not to let our feelings dictate our reality. We can notice them, we can honor them, we can appreciate them for the information that they are giving us, and we can consider them. But we don't want to just accept the fact that they are telling us the truth, because a lot of times our emotions are there for other reasons that don't have to do with the particular situation, or we are simply trying to jump to conclusions that aren't based in, again, reality. But what we can do is to start to learn to question our thoughts, to question our emotions, and to question our irrational beliefs. And in this way, we can successfully learn to separate fact from fiction. And we can do this very simply by learning a technique called cognitive behavioral therapy. This is something that radically changed my life and something that I made an entire video about. So I will link it down in the description box below so you have that resource. But basically it's a form of therapy that you can learn to practice on yourself, or of course with a licensed mental health therapist, to help you to not only question your thoughts, but to also learn to reframe them and to make them more rational and more constructive in your life. So again, I will drop that video down below, because if you can learn this technique, you can completely change your life. This is one of the real big building blocks that led me to really change my thoughts and behavior, and to really start to not only destroy this cognitive distortion, but many of the different cognitive distortions that I personally suffered from in my life. So I truly hope this video was interesting and helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments if this is something that you feel that you struggle with yourself. And don't be hard on yourself if you do, because this is something that I feel that most people really have trouble with. Because when we are emotional, of course, it is very difficult to have thought that is based in reality, to be able to truly separate fiction from fact. But just know that it is possible with practice and by using this powerful technique. So I hope the rest of your day is extraordinary. Please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing you next time, guys. Have an absolutely amazing day.